Coming up, a teacher recruitment letter for Fargo schools is causing a stir. A crime suspect gets into a scuffle with a police chief who receives help from citizens in making the arrest. And how white teachers in one school district will be the first to face layoffs. Hello and welcome to the Nightly Review. I'm Tom Tucker. We begin with a look at tonight's headlines. Then, the latest on the controversy surrounding the decision by the Fargo School Board to stop reciting the Pledge of Allegiance at the start of their bi-weekly meetings. Robin Nelson was one of two board members who voted against the move. She'll comment on the local and national backlash, along with comments on what the board might be doing next. But first tonight, a teacher recruitment letter from Fargo Public Schools is going viral on social media. FPS sent the letter in April to Florida teachers shortly after the passage of Florida's Parental Rights Bill. The bill, described by some as the Don't Say Gay law, prohibits teachers in kindergarten through the third grade from teaching on sexual orientation and gender identity. The letter refers to the law and attempts to attract Florida teachers who don't feel supported by the new state policy. Now, those who wrote the letter and signed the letter include School Superintendent Dr. Rupak Gandhi and Fargo City Commissioner John Strand. The Jamestown Police Department is thanking bystanders who helped Chief Scott Ettinger, who got into a struggle with a crime suspect while making an arrest. The chief says he was assaulted by 42-year-old Jeremiah Maholka while trying to arrest Maholka after pulling him over for recklessly riding his motorcycle. The chief sustained only minor bumps and cuts. Maholka was taken into custody at the Stutzman County Jail on several charges, including assault on a peace officer, reckless driving, and resisting arrest. Investigators are working to figure out the cause of a fire this morning at an apartment complex in Dilworth. The fire was reported just after 7 o'clock at 603 First Avenue Northwest, right behind the fire department and the community center. Fire Chief Mark Empting says one unit sustained significant fire damage, but the rest of the building sustained only smoke damage. No injuries are reported, and a dog and a hamster were rescued. The Cass County Sheriff's Department will be taking part in an active shooter training session tonight. The drill takes place from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock at Central Cass School. We're told the training will require a large law enforcement presence at the school, along with EMS crews and their vehicles. The West Fargo School District has received the green light from the school board to hire 7 more elementary teachers for the upcoming year. That's because total elementary enrollment for the fall is up by about 250 students compared to last year. The elementary total is 6,353 students. Now, if the district is able to hire 7 additional teachers, average class size is expected to be about 21 students. Meanwhile, the superintendent of West Fargo Public Schools is talking about a new policy going into effect this year, banning students from using their cell phones during instructional time.
We're just trying to reduce the distractions for our learners. When they're in the hallways, in between classes, they can use their phones, but just trying to help our learners focus.
District Superintendent Beth Sletty says reaction to the new policy is mostly positive and supportive.
Sometimes we just have to put limits on that so that our learners can really engage in the content that they're learning. I don't have a survey out there, but I've only heard positives from families and school board members that feel like this is a good move for us.
The superintendent says if a parent or guardian needs to contact a child during class time, they're directed to call the school office. A report by the North Dakota Mineral Resources Department says oil production is up in the state. Production rose in June for the second straight month to almost 1.1 million barrels per day. Natural gas production is also near an all-time high for the state. Crude oil prices are dropping, leading to lower prices at the gas pumps for consumers. The state's Game and Fish Department is announcing plans for the turkey season. Fall wild turkey season will run from October 8th through January 1st, 2023. The department is making nearly 4,000 fall turkey licenses available. That's 150 more than last year. Hunting is closed in Unit 21 in Hettinger and Adams counties because of low turkey population. The deadline to apply for a turkey hunting license is set for September 7th. In Minneapolis, white teachers will be laid off first, regardless of experience and tenure, under a new teacher's contract. The agreement is part of a new contract beginning in 2023 between the Minneapolis Federation of Teachers and the Minneapolis Public School System. The language in the contract says it's an effort to avoid layoffs to a teacher who is a member of a population underrepresented. Several conservative groups have threatened to sue the teachers union on the basis of discrimination. And Minnesota schools are expanding access to free meals for nearly 100,000 students. Governor Tim Walz says the state has joined a federal pilot program that allows more schools to offer more free meals to students. Walz took to Twitter to say fewer kids will go hungry at school as a result of the program. He says he was a teacher for 20 years and says the effort will help students succeed. Well, thanks for choosing the Nightly Review as your source for news and information for all that is happening here in the FM Metro and the surrounding region. Please show your support for the program by subscribing and hitting the bell button below. Well, there's not much to complain about when it comes to today's weather, but tomorrow could be a different story. Meteorologist Justin Storm has the forecast from the Skywatch Weather Center.
Thanks, Tom. As we head through the rest of this evening, we'll continue to see plenty of sunshine across the area. It will remain partly cloudy, but clouds will be increasing as we head throughout tonight. Temperatures will drop into the mid-60s, with wind lightening up around 5 to 10 miles per hour. It'll turn to the northwest on Thursday around 5 to 15. Wider spread scattered showers and thunder showers are expected throughout the day, with temperatures in the mid-70s. And for your Friday, temperatures cool into the upper 60s and lower 70s. Wider spread scattered showers look to continue with a north-northeast wind gusting up to 30.
It could happen to you or someone you love. One moment, one diagnosis can change everything. Thankfully, there's a program that helps caring people uplift families through a crisis. Lend a Hand Up, raising financial help and hope through community benefits and online campaigns. A program that boosts generosity so gifts go further. Lend a Hand Up helps you help your neighbors. Learn more and give at lendahandup.org.
Welcome back to the Nightly Review. The Fargo School Board is considering an about-face on their recent decision to stop reciting the Pledge of Allegiance before their biweekly meetings. The board president is recommending the board reinstate the pledge and has called a special meeting this Thursday night to talk about that possibility. Robin Nelson is one of two board members who voted against dropping the pledge. I first asked her to comment on local and national backlash the board's action is now causing.
Well, it's been quite a whirlwind since the board decided to rescind from our agendas reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. So we have received, a whirlwind, I'm going to use the term again, of media requests, emails, phone calls, not only locally but from around the country, creating so much activity that the board president has chosen to hold a special meeting for the board to reconsider the removal of the Pledge of Allegiance from our agendas.
I asked Nelson if she's surprised by the reaction, not only locally, but from around the country.
I am surprised at the scope of it, but I'm not surprised at the reaction. No, it was completely predictable. I've been doing this for about 20 years, and that was one of the reasons I voted, one of the minor reasons I voted to retain our recitation of the Pledge of Allegiance.
I asked Nelson why she believes reciting the pledge is important.
I think it's important for us to not prohibit anybody from participating. The Pledge of Allegiance is protected. We have, the Supreme Court has ruled that anybody can not participate if they choose. And that's the way I wanted to keep it. Let me still recite it, and if you choose not to, that's fine. That's your decision. If you choose not to use the words under God, that's part of your decision as well. And if you want to kneel, that's your right as well, but don't take my right away from saying the pledge.
Nelson said casting her vote against dropping the pledge was an easy decision.
No hesitation whatsoever. I voted to add it to the agenda, and I never hesitated to not keep it on the agenda. It's clearly much more controversial to remove the pledge than it ever was to add it. Mm-hmm. And again, that's just quite predictable. So I never hesitated for a minute, Tom.
I asked Nelson if she believes the decision to drop the pledge will be reversed at the special board meeting on Thursday.
Well, I thought I could have predicted the outcome of the last vote that was so controversial. I would say there will be some flips, but I'm about done trying to predict what the school board does at this point, and I'm just going to sit back and listen, but I will continue to support adding the pledge back into the agenda.
I finally asked the board member what lesson might be learned from what has taken place so far.
How important it is to think long-term with every decision that you make, to make decisions for the best interest of public education and Fargo Public Schools. Some may differ from me, but I don't think that this was in the best interest for our school district and ultimately our students. So realizing how carefully you need to speak about and vote on hot topic issues, which who would have thought the Pledge of Allegiance would have been a hot topic issue, but it's a hot button issue right now because we were considering removing it. So just think a little bit on the repercussions of your vote, not only from the media, but more importantly from our supporters and parents here in Fargo and our state legislature, because they are very, very interested in this conversation.
I'd like to thank Fargo School Board member Robin Nelson for joining me for tonight's one-on-one conversation. That special school board meeting is set for Thursday night at 6 o'clock. The meeting happens at the boardroom of the district office at 700 7th Street South in Fargo. The board decided to drop the pledge by a vote of 7-2. The other no vote came from Nikki Gullickson. Well, that will do it for this Wednesday night, August 17th, 2022. I'm Tom Tucker. Thanks for watching the Nightly Review.